All right. Hi, I'm Chief Meteorologist Adam Clark. We're here talking with Langley, the NASA Center in Langley, and we're going to see exactly what's happening with Artemis. We're about to go to the moon, first time in 50 years. And with me is Marina. Marina, could you please say and spell your name for me?
Sure. My name is Marina Moen. Last name spelled Moen.
All right. And what's your title?
I'm an aerospace engineer.
All right.
My particular expertise is controls for space vehicles.
Okay. All right. So we're gearing up. How many folks are going to the moon? How many astronauts are we sending? And when's the expected timeline for us to launch, provided there's good weather?
Yeah, so our next launch tap is March 6th. We have a window of several days. Like you said, provided that we have good weather, that everything goes smoothly. It's a 10-day mission. We're going around the moon and coming back. And we have 4 astronauts on board. This is the first time in a long time that we're going to the moon with humans. Our primary focus right now is to check out all of the systems, make sure everything's working properly for humans to be on board safely and happily. And we're also doing some proximity operations where we are going to try to come close to the second stage of the vehicle after we separate to kind of practice what we would need to do when a lunar ascent module would come back from the moon's surface and the people on board would have to get to the space vehicle to come back to Earth.
Okay. And tell me, it's been 50 years since we've done this. A lot's changed in that time. Can you just give me the highlights of like how much different this is going to be than it was back in the 70s?
Yeah, so you're right. It's been a long time. And so, like you said, a lot of technology changes, right? Think about phones, right? We have cell phones now, which, by the way, we're taking with us on Artemis II mission. The astronauts will have cell phones that they will use to communicate to people on Earth, and even NASA. But apart from that, a lot of things they're under the hood. We have materials that we didn't have before for things like rockets and spacecraft. We have the computer technology that is so much better. The Apollo had the computer capabilities that were less than what your current calculator is capable of. So imagine what we can do with our current technology
Yeah.
for computation purposes. We have sensors that are significantly better and lighter, and so we can do more sensing, more instruments because they're lighter. Pretty
Okay,
exciting.
and so we're going to get some more samples, and we've got all sorts of robots and stuff that we're using, and ways to get information from the moon. Tell me about that, since you're working with that yourself.
NASA, whether it's space or other sciences, when we research something, NASA is at the forefront of what humans can do. Our whole job is to research new things, to engineer new things. When we do that, whether it was Apollo or Space Shuttle, we actually create things all of humanity uses. For example, the baby formula that was first created for the astronauts. Imagine how many babies were helped by that. Other things are something you would use every day, like a vacuum cleaner. The cordless vacuum cleaners were created by NASA for space use. I can't tell you how exactly humanity will benefit from Artemis as it's going forward. I can tell you that based on past experiences, there's going to be a lot of ways in which NASA will change how you and I interact with the world. Why do we want to go into space? Why do we want to colonize another planet? Same exact reasons that we have colonized other lands previously, right? Part of it is what's out there. What can we learn? other parts of it is we would like to be able to use other resources. So there's both of the needs and the wants, I think, are valid.
Yeah. That sounds so cool. Yeah, a lot has come out of NASA, and it helps us every single day. So that's definitely a wonderful point. And so we've got 4 astronauts heading up. Can you tell me a little bit about the astronauts?
I have not personally made contact with the astronauts. I am at Langley. As you know, we have one of the first women that is going
Yeah.
to be going around the moon. We have a Canadian on board,
Okay.
and two others are Americans. They're all highly trained, highly excited to be there. In fact, they were part of the wet dress rehearsal that was happening yesterday. So they've been training for years now.
Yeah.
It's been exciting for everybody, and obviously for them.
Yeah, you're
They
excited
have,
too, I bet.
go ahead.
What excites you the most about all this? You get to see your work in action.
Yes, very much so. So I've been working on Artemis in one way or another for over a decade. I've worked on the entry flight test 1 and Artemis 1 and Artemis 2, and I've been working on Artemis 3 now. So it is extremely excited to see that work come to fruition. It's extremely exciting to share it with others. I can't wait to see that rocket go up. Didn't get a chance to see Artemis 1 go up, and I'm really hoping to see Artemis 2 go up. It's, yeah, very exciting times.
Okay, so what advice would you have for especially a budding female scientist to go forward and seek a job in STEM? I want you to talk to maybe a little girl that loves math and science. Tell her how you did it and give her some advice.
Oh, that's a great question. So I've been wanting to do something in STEM since I was a little girl. And I remember the first Mars mission rover that was remotely controlled. It was on TV. It was the first one. And I remember seeing that and going, I want to be that person. The next person that designs a rover or a rocket or be an astronaut. And so that was my goal. And the way I went about it is, obviously, I needed to have good math and science skills. But then I went to college for engineering degree. And you don't have to be an aeronautics engineer. You can be a mechanical engineer, a whole bunch of other engineers, or a scientist to get a chance to work on really neat projects like a spacecraft or a rover or a whole bunch of other things. I have lots of coworkers that have instruments on the space station right now. That is really neat. So I went to college. And then I tried getting a job, and I had a hard time getting a job at NASA in the beginning, even though I had an internship with NASA while I was going to college. And that was due to the fact that NASA wasn't hiring anybody at the time. So I went into a private field, and that was pretty neat too. I got to work on some orbital type of spacecraft. And I just kept on applying until I got my leg in the door. So whatever field of study you decide you want to go into, perseverance, try and try again. Eventually you will get where you want to go. And you'll have fun doing it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for that. And so you've got all of this equipment that you've been working on. Tell me, what are you most excited to see implemented once they're on the moon from something that you have done?
Right. So my part of it is I work on the crew module. So I get to see my work in action at the end of Artemis II mission. Okay. When the service module and crew module separate and we're starting to enter the atmosphere, that's where my work comes into play. I worked on making sure that that crew module is as safe as possible. And so I am very excited and anxious to see the astronauts come back to Earth safe.
Okay. That's
That will
really
be
important. Yeah.
absolutely the best point of my career.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you for spending time with us this afternoon. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I think you covered most of it, but it is so exciting, and I'm really hoping that people will join you and other stations in seeing the vehicle come up and also seeing it go down. It is really interesting and dynamic point of flight. When it's going down, you get to see the parachutes and the heat shield. It is something to observe. So please join everybody watching it and root for the astronauts.
We certainly will. Thank you for spending this time with us, Marina. Appreciate you.
Thank you.